On a night where Minnesota needed to win to tie the series, and on the other hand, OKC needed to win to pretty much secure their spot in the finals, going up 3-1 in the series, this game was huge, and it was the big three of the Oklahoma City Thunder who showed up big time to get their team the much needed W, and the whole team's efforts were needed as this game came down to the wire. Minnesota kept fighting back, but it's like OKC just had an answer for everything. You'll see here that Shai is going to tell Williams to clear out, and this is for a couple of reasons. One is because he doesn't want to clutter space if he attempts to drive going left. And then two, if the defense decides to double him, well, he can easily have an option available if J-Dub creates space away from the play. As we roll the tape, you're going to see McDaniels hold ground in the middle of the floor to take away the drive, so with a simple chest pass to the opposite side of the floor, Williams can now pour one in from deep. All night long, we would see the Timberwolves load up on drives to limit guys from getting into the paint, as instead of it being McDaniels, this time it's Naz Reid who decides to stay put in the middle, and in theory, this would work, since Naz Reid is playing big, and most bigs in the league can't really shoot. But when you're matched up with Chet Holmgren, you have to be out on him just in case he decides to shoot, and if you get there too late, well, it's pure money. As you will watch this game, you will notice these box and elbow schemes implemented to make Shai think twice before attacking, and yeah, it may have taken away his ability to get into the middle of the paint or made it more difficult, but when you leave shooters open on the wing with a lone closeout, all Shai has to do is make a push towards the basket to show a drive threat, which makes the defense commit to him, and look what we have here. Alex Caruso locked and loaded, ready to fire. I understand that some teams may love that Shai isn't able to get his easy buckets because they've cut off his angles, but I think things become even more dangerous when you allow the team to get involved off his creation. With guys that can score the ball so well, they're used to seeing their first initial attack being cut off, so that's why it's always important to have counters. So on this play here, we see Shai effortlessly snatch back to then spot another angle he can attack, and upon pushing towards the middle of the floor, Jaden McDaniels gets in position to cut him off once again. But Shai then counters that with a spin off towards the rim, and at this point, Shai could have gone up, as no one is affecting this right side of the rim. But he's one, off balance, and two, Rudy Gobert is making his way over to help on this drive. This here is where quick decision making comes into play, and with Shai commanding so much attention from the Timberwolves defense, a pass out to Lu Dort is open, and it's time to cash in. Having a player who can control the offense and be patient like this is crucial when it comes to the playoffs. Here on this play, Shai wants Cason Wallace to clear out and could also be signaling for Hartenstein to clear out as well, but he's already on the right side. Now the reason for Cason Wallace clearing out is so important is because now this forces Ant to cover two people on the right side. With Shai coming off the screen involving Gobert, this pulls the only rim protector away from the basket, leaving Edwards to guard Hart, but look what opens up. Yup, Cason Wallace, who initially cleared out. Now for none of this to have happened, Jaden McDaniels would have needed to slide over early to guard Hart so Ant could get out to Cason, but due to their defensive principles, this didn't happen and now they must pay the price. Yeah, huge shots from the supporting cast make it entirely too hard to keep throwing all the attention at the main guys, as once you get tunnel vision and leave guys in spots where they stand no chance, well here's where we can see the alley-oop connection. Some people might say that's better than allowing the stars of the team to get going, but little do you know that some guys get in rhythm by setting up their teammates for easy looks, and all you've done now is give them fuel to step on the gas and start cooking you. With Shai, J-Dub, and Chet combining for 95 of the Thunder's 128 points, it wasn't them simply setting guys up, they were operating in space to create buckets for themselves. With 34 points on the night with a 68.3 true shooting percentage, J-Dub came out the gates showing everyone he was locked in, and on this play where he receives the screen from Hart, you're going to see Ant shoot on the lower side of the screen, causing him to get stuck behind two Thunder players, and with this much space to get the shot off, Williams lets it fly without hesitating. Having shots like that go down early will do wonders for your confidence during the course of this game, because now you look for any mistake the defense may make, such as Randall standing near the elbow, daring Williams to shoot, and trust me, that dare right there, well it really didn't work in his favor. Not only did J-Dub show off his 3-point shooting, as he also displayed composure by not getting startled on this attack when contact was made by DiVincenzo, and to shift things back in his favor, Williams gives Dante a slight bump to knock him off balance, and the tough pull-up is up and in. That bump that he delivers is something that can open up a ton of space, especially when he adds in a move with it, as here you can see he has a massive gap between him and his defender, and at this point, you might as well watch the ball fall through the basket. Literally from all areas, J-Dub was making his presence felt, no matter how tough the conversion was. This here will be a spark they needed, but he wasn't alone, as Chet dropped in 21 points on 70% true shooting. Sort of like we touched on earlier, the defense will be loaded up or ready to load up on Shai when he started to attack the basket, so with OKC using Chet as a spacer for the offense, Shai can now simply send it over to Chet when McDaniels gets overzealous on the help, and bada bing, is money team. Nailing those threes doesn't just give Chet the boost of confidence he needs to let shots fly, as now he can use it as a weapon of deception to make defenders bite hard on up fakes when they have to close out. And I mean, hey, we all can see it. The runway is now clear for takeoff. Even when he successfully used the up fake but then loses control of the ball for a brief moment, Chet is able to stay with it to get the bucket, and we saw a lot of that from the Thunder this game. When guys would miss shots, you would see multiple Timberwolves defenders watching the ball, when in all honesty, at least one of them should have been pursuing the ball heavy. But guess what? None of them did, as Chet was the only one really to pursue the ball, which got him another 2 easy points. Sure, some of these may have been long rebounds that just fall out of your luck, but it simply doesn't matter, as you still allow for guys to come in and destroy your paint in the process. Having a guy like Chet who can shoot from deep or have the ability to put the ball on the deck to go create something is huge for this team. Because when you put what him and J-Dub did together and add in Shai, this is when things are scary. It's already bad enough that you have to double Shai to stop him, which then leads to his partner in crime sniping you from deep. But now once he decides he wants to go score the ball, he can get mad creative to pull up right in the middle of contact being initiated to try and draw the foul. And regardless of there being a whistle or not, he still manages to knock it down. With there being practically no way to guard Shai, defenders have no choice but to play honest, which sometimes puts them in a tough spot as they bite hard on everything, sending them out of position. And in this very moment, it's no longer the first defender Shai is worried about. It's now about fooling whoever is next to help out. Well, since Shai sees Nasri rotating over, he decides to use that hazy to freeze him before continuing forward, and with him drifting to the left after getting by, the bank is now open to go ahead and get the money. It's not often you look around the league and find guys who can adjust to the defense in such a quick manner, but SGA, he does this. He'll see the floor closing in on him here, so he uses the spin move to go back towards the middle, and with the other side of the paint just as clogged up, the drive is no longer an option. So that's why we see him get into that post up, and with him digging in his bag a little bit, sort of like them fries at Five Guys. He uses that shimmy to make Dante take a step in that direction, and before he knows it, Shai is rising up to bury it home. Yeah, this is why having many different ways to score comes in handy. Because when you get into that post up, if the shot isn't available just yet, but you see an angle to attack instead, well, here's where your finishing at the rim is important, especially around multiple defenders. And then if you're in a position where the defense is closing off all angles to drive, and there's not too many open options besides maybe Lu Dort on the opposite side, here's where your ability to knock down shots at a high level is truly tested. If you ask me, there's truly nothing you can do with Shai. You can try and send multiple his way, but the counter game is out of this world, as he'll delete the first help defender with a hezzy before they retreat back, and now with Ant back in the play, Shai knows he has nowhere to go because this side is so crowded. So that's why we see him spin off Ant back into the lane, and this right here is straight cash. Time and time again, we would see Shai find different angles to manipulate the defense, and during the course of this game, he could get whatever he wanted as he put up 40 points with 10 assists to go along with it. The Thunder have now went up 3-1 with a chance to end it all on their home floor to advance to the finals, and behind SGA and his other star counterparts, the finals look like they are the next step in this young team's future. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you're first to know when I upload. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.